Hey there, here's a quick screencast for making viewports and sheet layers. So I'm going to walk you through the steps for two different types of viewports. We're going to make a viewport out of the whole layer, and then we'll take a snapshot of just part of the layer. So the first thing you need to do is create your sheet layer. So click on the sheet layer tab, click new, and you have to give it a number. Let's call it sheet number 3. I've got sheet number 4, I already have a couple there. And I'll name it sample. Name it something that means something to you that you can help keep track of all the drawings with, and click OK. And there's our blank sheet layer. So now we go back to the design layer that we want to take a snapshot of. So I'm on my floor plan 1111 layer, and I go up to View, choose Create Viewport, give it a name. And I can give it a title. I'll do the same thing. And I'm going to leave everything else the same, except you got to make sure that you send it to the correct sheet layer. So I'm going to choose it to send it to sheet 4, which is the sheet layer we just made. Click OK. And here is my viewport. It's my snapshot on my sheet layer. Let me go get the object info palette. You control most of what's going on in the viewport with the object info palette, and the rest of it by double clicking on the viewport. So the beauty of using viewports is that I can change the scale very quickly. I want to make it smaller. Oh, that's too big. That looks pretty good. 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. You can move the drawing around. You can change the type of rendering. I can change it to a sketch style, and it makes it look like I've sort of hand drawn it. I can change it to wireframe. I can change it to dashed hidden lines. And anytime you get this red rope around here, you got to hit update. This is only for 3D views, and there it'll show me everything that's hidden gets a dashed line. I can go back to wireframe, so you can change the look of everything, or I can go back to OpenGL, which will give it a color. I can change the view. So here's top plan, which is a 2D view. Top view is a 3D view. I can also look at it from angles. We'll get into this doing when we do 3D. There I get my red and white rope and click update, and there's my kitchen. So you can do an awful lot with viewports. I'll go back to the top plan view, which is a 2D view. If I want to have a viewport just from part of a layer, I'll show you how to do that. We'll go back to our, let's say, we'll go to this view, and I just want to make a viewport just out of my 3D object here. I choose a shape, and I draw. Got to make sure I'm in a view that'll work. Let's see if I can. There we go. I'm going to get rid of the fill and get rid of a line. And with this object still selected, I'm going to choose the same thing, View, Create Viewport. Give it a name, tell it what sheet to go to. And there is my viewport, just of a partial thing. You sometimes will get a message that says, do you want to use the shape as a viewport crop? Select yes. I've set that to my default so I don't get that message every time. If you're in a 2D view, you won't get this red rope around it. This is only a 3D view. I'll hit update, and there's my snapshot. Same thing, if I want to change the rendering to have it be wireframe, I can change it to wireframe. If I want to make it look like I sketched it, I can change it to sketch. I'm going to go back to wireframe. If I want it bigger, I can make it bigger. So a lot of controls through the Object Info palette. Now, if I want to actually edit stuff, I double click directly on the viewport and I get this Edit Viewport dialog box. If I want to add text and dimensions, I choose Annotations, click OK. And notice I'm in this editing window. Everything else is grayed out except for my viewport. I can then use my dimension tools to add dimensions. I'll put one there. I'll put one here. And then I have to choose to exit the viewport annotation, and my viewport is changed. Double click again. If I want to change the crop, so this viewport over here didn't have a crop, but this one does. I click OK. Now I go to my crop and I can change my crop. My crop object isn't showing up right now. Normally you'd see the crop object around here and you'd be able to change the crop size. Maybe I'll try that again in a different screencast. And then lastly, if I wanted to change something right on the design layer, I don't have to switch back to the design layer. I can go right back to the design layer, make a change. You know, for instance, say I didn't want to have that door there. I can delete that, return to viewport, and when I render it, it'll be a little bit more obvious. Click Update, and I've removed that door. So 2 different ways to make viewports. It's a great way to make presentation drawings.